everyone, and welcome to a very special night of singing with nightingales, the homecoming. I'm Sam Lee, and tonight's live stream has been brought to you by the Nest Collective, and I am sitting out in a field in Sussex, and right in front of me, as you might be able to hear, is the second night of singing from a wonderful male nightingale. This bird has flown all the way from sub-Saharan Africa, amazing, for over 4,500 mile journey to get here, an unbelievable feat. And our birds arrived over the last couple of days, more are arriving every night. And we are sitting next to an old water treatment works with this early riser. He's been going for about 40 minutes already, and he's going to be singing all night. And welcome to you all. If this is the first Sing with Nightingales live you've ever heard, then tonight's experience is an immersive sound-only journey into the magic of this bird. And the celebration of his song throughout history, throughout time, and the inspiration that they have offered artists. And this homecoming has been created by you, our public. Over the last few months, you've been sending in your poems and songs and instrumental music, all in reverence and devotion to this bird. And tonight's journey will be a collaboration between this bird singing right in front of me live. You're hearing this as the bird is singing, and these pre-recorded offerings. So well done to everyone who's put their music forward. We're sorry we couldn't include everything that was sent to us. This experience is in collaboration with our in-field Sing with Nightingale events that happens here in East Sussex near Lewes, of which there's about 10 tickets left for the next 7 weeks. So you can come and experience these amazing birds in person. But tonight is our way of saying welcome to these creatures, and how important it is to have you back singing in this land. But there's another element to this broadcast, which is that the nightingale is an important figure in many different cultures. But in the country of Ukraine, the nightingale is the national bird, a very important figure in their folk song and folklore. And so we're dedicating tonight's broadcast to Ukraine, and indeed the money we are raising through your donations is going towards the humanitarian effort, and we are doing it through a fund that's being matched by the UK government up to £25 million. So whatever you give to our fundraiser tonight will be doubled. You can find the links for that on the YouTube information or Facebook information below, wherever you're watching this. And thank you so much. Already lots of wonderful, generous gifts have been coming through from you over tonight. So the way it goes is that we're going to introduce our first musicians and go on a little sound journey. We have 4 parts to this evening, and you're going to be hearing the nightingale constantly throughout, and music will be played amongst. Please do write your names and where you are in the chat. Let us know where you're listening from, what the experience is like, and anything you want to offer about your love of the nightingale or nature herself. So sit back, relax, get into bed or a hot bath, or put your headphones on and go for a walk in this incredible starry moonlit night that we have here in southern England at least. And thank you all for joining. We're going to start off with the wonderful, happy couple, a superb duo of extraordinary sound artists who are going to launch us in with this mysterious creature.
On this night of homecoming, I would like to offer a memory of a nightingale's song at a time when home is very much in our thoughts because of the tragic displacement of so many people. Out on the Suffolk heath, the evening is breathless, ghost still. This is a precious fragment of an ancient, wilder landscape, where the heather and gorse breathe out the heat of day, where coconut and honey scents hang heavy and coalesce with dew. Old branches, old pathways, and old shapes of tree roots carve lines in the growing dusk. From far off, I hear the weird, unearthly churring of a nightjar, like a distant motorbike fading into the night. And as I walk, the dry crackle of silence floats on the air. Shapes rapidly lose all sense of definition. Just the sandy tracks glow with a seeming inner brightness. I reach the woodland edge, and a rich burst of song, more intense than anything I've heard all day, rises out of the growing gloom. A nightingale, hidden in the dark, fills the night with a rich and piercing exaltation of sound, an intoxication, a reverie, a mourning. The bird's fame in poetry and song rests justifiably on this musical intensity, made more extreme because it occupies the darkness so completely that one small bird can fill the air with such uplifting sound is a miracle that demands to be witnessed, to be recognized, to be treasured. And yet, every year this bird has to look harder for the woodland cover it needs to build its home, to find its food, to rear its young. Can we show enough care to ensure there is a welcoming habitat for this bird that crosses thousands of miles of land and sea every year to find sanctuary on our shores, where it can create a brief home of safety for its young? Can we show we care
Call to the wind, may you light up this sail and guide our way home again safely. I call to the sun, I drink in your gold, may you return to warm up these shorelines. I call to the night that sings to the wild, and I ask it to wrap me in blackness. Who is circling? Who is searching? Who is here at the dawn light? I'm right here. I'm right here at the dawn light. Assalamu alaikum, little singer of the night. I send a greeting of peace to settle soft on your feathers in the breath between your notes. Those bursts of star-bright wonder piercing the walls inside us. Tiny chinks through which specks of light float from your song to rekindle that same star stuff that shines in us, embers in the dark. Assalamu alaikum, tiny dinosaur. Promise inherent in that prayer in the drum beats between our hearts. A deep knowing that you are secure from my harm. For how can one who greets you thus greet truly otherwise? Assalamu alaikum, dear nightingale. That same shield woven in farewell, yet the words stumble through the ghost thickets of your homes, catching in my throat. Rich tapestries of our sonic ecosystems so diminished, wearing thin. We can't keep watching as they unspool before our eyes, deafened by gulfs of silence once iridescent with song. A minute's silence stretches, a gap that lengthens between each note. For you who bring us song in dark times, Who will fill the darkness when your voice fades from these shores? And so we greet you again with salams, weaving threads with our words, reflecting the light of stars deep in the woods, to re-enchant these isles with the wonder of your song and the worlds within them. Assalamu alaikum.
You gave me milk when I arrived, sweet and warm, and slowly colours came. They had no names, not then, and the sounds no source. I had no hands, no feet. I was just breath slowly folding into skin, and there was no soil, no rain, not a leaf or a shell. At 4 years old, you gave me fields and stars waiting. They are still waiting. Then streams and banks thick with grass began to appear, a path lined with daffodils, wet sand and gulls calling from within the light, coming off the sea, baptizing everything. You hid so many jewels, blue eggs in lined nests, sparkling feathers, pink and yellow shells, small silver fishes, and at night, silent, and moving closer now, wolves and pulling waters. You didn't show me the dawn and the dusk until I was able to be still, until I was able to open these doors by myself, to know them as beginnings and endings. We were always part of each other. I am salts and water, as is every leaf, every lion, every hill. And I am every river, every flower, every wave, every stone, and they are me, the hunted and the hunter. Now I can see you shining, glistening, moving through space, around the star, holding your precious cargo of whales, gold crests, petals, yes, your cargo of dreams, of love distilling every bitter seed, brush with clouds. It is my hope that love will prevail, that we will prevail through loving, through knowing every seed and star is love, that in time I will hold you as you hold me, that we will know the end of isolation and the beckoning of the reality of interdependence, that this is balance, which is wisdom. Look at the route the river takes, the branches leaning into the light. I give you thanks for the dew, for the sound of leaves, for the way water moves light, for birdsong, for the deserts, for hunger, for the cup of desire. I have yet to learn that looking after myself begins with loving you, that we are husband and wife, that I sleep in your arms and drink your milk. And now, growing older, you show me the symmetry of leaves, how death takes hold, and how deep your scent is sweet in spring.
You are listening to Singing with Nightingales Homecoming. We are live in Sussex here with this fine singing nightingale. And you listeners have just heard the Ukrainian trio based in London, Tamiza, with Pойду по садочку, I'll go to the garden. Wonderful Ukrainian traditional song. We'll be hearing more from Tamiza. And as mentioned earlier, tonight's broadcast is raising funds for the Ukrainian humanitarian crisis. We've had music just now from some extraordinary singers and speakers. After the Happy Couple, we had Adrian Tizier with Untitled Poem, followed by Carrie Tree's Call to the Wind, the wonderful voice of Carrie. Thank you so much for that song. And then the gorgeous Alia Ali and her Untitled Poem, followed by Peter Owen Jones, the Vicar of Firle, not that many miles from where we are now, with his Letter to the Earth, Milk, and that was a contribution to the anthology of letters to the Earth, put out by Culture Declares Emergency as part of Extinction Rebellion's upsurge in voices declaring their adoration for the earth. This book is a compendium of wonderful lyrical tomes and contributions to with voices like Caroline Lucas, Mark Rylance, Ben Oaktree. Many others have contributed extraordinary words, and we'll be hearing a few more of those letters throughout this programme. The moon is shining bright. I don't know if the microphones are able to pick up, but behind us we have lapwings singing who have nested in these fields next to us for the first time since 1969. So we're surrounded by extraordinary birds right now, two very unique singers. And now we're going to read on to part 2 of this broadcast. To all those listening, I hope you're having a special time wherever you are. Messages coming in from across the UK and abroad. It's so lovely to see your words. And do let your friends and families know. Share this YouTube link on your social media if you care to. And draw people into this strange enchantment. I'm going to hand you over now to a piece of song from India Blue. This is untitled, to be followed by the wonderful Holly Ebony. Here goes.
So brilliantly, welcome, I'm sorry that I'm late. Invite you in. Still I see you've entered anyway. Soon all the leaves will be gone. Soon all the leaves will be gone. Blessed is the one who wakes up just to see cyclical divinity. Pardon me my lack of observation. I've been inside. We all seem to shelter from the nothing on the branches in our minds. Soon all the earth will be blue. Soon all the earth will be blue. One day soon, but people will gather. No one feels duty to separate. Maybe autumn in its amber laid a calm on a hasty hour. Soon the light will grow long. Soon the light will grow long. So soon the winter's gone.
Unbutton a gaudy garb of day, cast away the crumpled cloth, the weightiness of warp and wet is a hobbling head. Sizzle white to slice the velvet sky. Staccato stitching, seeming itching, shapes a shadowy shore. Encircling all. Small wonder you woo the night bird. This diminutive ordinariness is but a trick of the light bird. Oh, how this infinite inkiness invites and incites you to voice your vastness. A song in glittering constellation, a chorus in one breath. Small wonder you ooh, the night bird. Oh, the night bird. Small wonder.
Stories of You and I, number 1. My fingertips push through the mossy earth into the damp soil, wriggling deeper. The texture of the roots between my fingers, some thick and almost rubbery, others delicate and fine, webs, rhizomes. The clay, the silt, the sand, the worm casts crumbled in my hands. All day I carried the smell of fresh earth on my fingers. Oh, how much I wanted to push down right into you, my love, to be consumed by you. To feel myself sink into your depths, my dear, to take shelter in your underworld. The majesty of the mountains revealed themselves as I ascended, tremendous expanses of daunting beauty. Above, vultures circled. Up here, where the air is thin, on the rocky outcrops, all belongs to you alone, my love. The insects, the wild flowers, the so many ladybirds, the highland meadows thronged with life. My heart ached. Oh, to curl up here, my dear, and listen to the wildlife creeping out after dark. To contemplate the stars as the temperature plummets and my nose drips with the biting cold. I sat by the fire. Pine cones glowed orange. The needles hissed and spat. Sap oozed from a green wood branch, and the wood from the ash tree burned slow and hot. In the flickering light of the dancing flame, silence and conversation all welcomed by the crackling fire. The fluidity, the creativity, the passion, it was all there, my love. The fire radiated through me, and I could taste the sweat and smoke on my lips. Oh, to be so enthralled by you, my dear, to be pulled so close my cheeks burned red. The skin on the back of my neck tingled with the ice-cold water of the river. I looked down at my legs, glistening and distorted, my feet wrapped over a smooth pebble, holding fast against the rushing water. The little fish, the tadpoles, the river weed tangled up with my feet, my skin flushed pink. I went numb for a bit, my love. The sound of the flowing water lulled me. I spoke quietly to myself. I bent down, submerged my face, the water lapping against my lips. Oh, how it is to feel your energy in the water, my dear, to feel it in my scalp shivering down my body. Number 2. Now I thank you, my love, for walking this walk with me. You have been the finest companion. You have walked me through such happiness and joy, such sadness and confusion. With you, it has all been welcome, it has all been right. And now, I question what sort of companion was I. For all that I celebrated you and revelled in your wonder, I see now that I did not honour you, nor hold you in your true reverence. I was here, you were there, and so I walked with you sometimes, and then went elsewhere. I admired you from afar. And from that comfortable distance, I could not feel how I was too caught up in exploiting you, diminishing you. I made you an object, myself a subject. We stood apart, you and I. And now, I wonder, who has suffered most from this story of you and I? Because you, my love, were never nature, and I was never anything else. Number 3. Now, in the silence, I stretch my fingers wide and rest my hands on my belly. I breathe deep and slow. No clenched fists, an open heart, tender, no fear in fragility. My feet stand firm, my roots, my skin burns. Here, this is the unbearably perfect. Now, 1. These scars are ours. Now into the wilderness, into the hostile world that has fought so long to silence our truth. Into the city. Now, with all our beauty, all our grief, all our shame, all our pain. For all that we hold dear, for all that we love, for all that we are. Now it's time we walk as one.
In springtime, when the snowdrops, when tomorrow seems so bright, a woodland walk was time well spent, the air so fresh and light. In summer rain came falling down on every leaf and tree, as ones that cannot borrow drown the rain and cry the times of 3. From tales of long forgotten times, the woods whisper their songs. Few souls have ever heard their chant except the ones who listen. The woods do not belong to anybody's pleasing. The woods do not belong to any permanent or seizing. The woods do not belong to you, nor to your dream. The woods, they keep their secrets close, the ones we've never seen. Autumn, the rain came early in the year of revelation, and the woodland walk seemed rather close to mental exaltation. The spirits made their plans about the woodland walk they silent. Unknowingly she knew she'd be in hospital that night. The woman left her bleeding on the woodland's common ground, and to battle left to fight was no retreat from lost and found. The shadows on the hill had been the darkest one that night, and the nightmares left covenantly conquering her sight. The morning after seemed like yesterday had never passed, and the creatures and the shadows of the woodland seemed so vast. But the woodlands hardly ever tell their stories of the tiger, autumn, the rain, and summer bleeding through the verdant vale. Because the woods do not belong to anybody's pleasing. The woods do not belong to any permanent or seizing. The woods do not belong to you, nor to your dream. The woods, they keep their secrets close, the ones we've never seen. The woods do not belong to anybody's pleasing. The woods do not belong to any permanent or seizing. The woods do not belong to you, nor to your dream. The woods, they keep their secrets close, the ones we
Welcome back. This is Sam Lee here, sitting under the moonlight with my small crew, managing the controls and dials here, and our fingers are getting colder and colder, making it harder to type, and a message with the wonderful chat that's going on right now on this live stream. But we are being warmed by the amazing contributions, and can I ask you to kind of click your fingers or quietly applaud the music there of Marielle Jankowski with her Autumnal Red, preceded by another Letter to the Earth, Stories of You and I by Sally Jane Hole, and that was read by Isla Lee. We had an untitled, beautiful a cappella from Holly Ebony and India Blue to start this section off. And we are here doing as our ancestors have done for thousands of years, which is on these first nights of spring. The stars are shining bright and the leaves are just beginning to grow their green spray. We sit listening to the return of the nightingale, bringing with them all sorts of promise of the richness of spring and summer and abundance coming back to the land. It feels an utter privilege to have nature so alive. And this bird is literally only a few feet in front of us and singing at around 90 decibels, as they do for about 6-7 weeks. These are the male birds singing with an extraordinary repertoire of around 100 to 200 different phrases and songs, 1,200 different sounds they can create, and all are improvised. So you're never hearing the same song twice. This broadcast is obviously pre-recorded music with a live nightingale, but from tomorrow night we'll be welcoming real musicians who will appreciate the unique and splendid experience of the nightingale collaborating with the musician when they can hear us, which these ones can't. They do an extraordinary call and response and reciprocation, as we're hearing a lot about right now in the news regarding the Beatrice Harrison BBC recordings of 1924, still capturing our imaginations. But here I'm talking too much, and we must get back to the music. And we are going into our third and penultimate part with music and songs from Jess Dandy and Dylan Perez here, music by Alex Mills, with Azel Torme reading out the poem Trusting the Spiral, a poem by the magnificent Joanna Macy. So here it is, taking you into the night, is Jess Dandy and Dylan Perez.
Family sobs by the
that comes, she blames a nightingale. It's getting dark, and by the house a mother lays her young to sleep. Beside them she fell asleep. All know it still, and just the gulls and nightingale their vigil keep. All know it still, and just the gulls and nightingale their vigil keep. All know it still, and just the gulls and nightingale their vigil keep. All know and still. That eagle of that eagle of
Active hope is not wishful thinking. Active hope is not waiting to be rescued by the Lone Ranger or by some savior. Active hope is waking up to the beauty of life on whose behalf we can act. We belong to this world. The web of life is calling us forth at this time. We've come a long way, and we are here to play our part. With active hope, we realize that there are adventures in store, strength to discover, and comrades to link arms with. Active hope is a readiness to engage. Active hope is a readiness to discover the strength in ourselves and in others, a readiness to discover the reasons for hope and the occasions for love, a readiness to discover the size and strength of our hearts, our quickness of mind, our steadiness of purpose, our own authority, our love for life, the liveliness of our curiosity, the unsuspected deep well of patience and diligence, the keenness of our senses, and our capacity to lead. None of these can be discovered in an armchair or without risk.
Every time we fall in love goes a little deeper. Everything we're dreaming of comes into view. softly to the sea, makes a bed for you and me, and all the gods sleep soundly now, knowing you were in my arms. There's a place true love hides, right between the sea and sky, far beyond the heavy storms, a little rain for you and I. Tears will come when love begins, and tears will come when old love ends. We are on the run from our old lives, we no longer recognize what we've become. Thunder's just a party trick, the gods just love to play with it, but they spend most of their time on love like this. For we tried to guard our hearts, hide away in other arts. Our fate is resting in their hands, whatever their plans. Tears will come when love begins, and tears will come when old love ends. We are on the run from darker times, we can weather what they send, they can have their fun. Join me now in a bow to the gods that gave us this. We sow our seeds and watch in vain, we offer gifts and pray for rain. Tears will come when love begins, and tears will come when old love ends. We are on the run to see the rain. Oh my, and how it came, and how it came.
Before the beginning of a new day, avoid going straight to your place of work. Wander outside, stretch your legs, see the sun, listen to singing songs of the wind, number your footsteps, take time to reflect, observe the movement of clouds. Inhale, in this moment, insulate your lungs with oxygen. Integrate self-love with nature. Put your thoughts on pause. Acknowledge that perception is product of perspective. Shift attention to the sun that waits on you dawn and dusk. Place your hand on chest. Feel your heart running races for you. Deep this fact and embrace it for two. So as you start today, before you search for words to utter complaint, as you lay awake, open your eyes to a world beyond your internal world of worry. See that nature is still existing. There's no need to worry. Time is still existing. The living resisting. Soil rebirthing trees. And for as long as earth remains, there will always be reason to be grateful, a reason to be thankful, a reason to give thanks for life. So make sure to start your day right.
you grey skies in the spring to bring your loving in for safety while you sleep. These songs are fading here, unclear, now only ring in silver deep. Ooh, what could I give? What could I give? What could we give to make it worth the journey? Would you fly back? Would you fly back? Would you fly back to us if we did the learning? Ghost of an icon, only to be heard, not seen, now only held in pocket silver screen. Will I never hear your call? Ring out the hedgerow at nightfall. Ooh, what could I give? What could I give? What could we give to make it worth the journey? Would you fly back? Would you fly back? Would you fly back to us if we did the learning? Fly, fly, fly. Hear a call. Fly, fly, fly. Hear a call.
With Nightingales, live, the homecoming. I'm Sam Lee, and this is the Nest Collective's gathering of your voices. All the music and words you've been hearing has been sent in by you, our listeners, in celebration of this magnificent bird, Lucinia megarincos, the nightingale that we have singing for us just the second night of his song after a long wait since they left in August on their wintering down to Africa. Wonderful songs there. We had Lucy and Hazel with Ghost of an Icon, and then a poem, Rejoice in Nature, written and read by Toya Demi Patton. The gorgeous lyrical voice of Adam Beattie. You heard the Scottish tones, all the gods, and as said, Joanna Macy's Trusting the Spiral. And beginning that section, Jess Dandy's magnificent voice with Dylan Perez's piano, music by Alex Mills. That was All Now Went Still, a peace song for Ukraine. And tonight is in homage to the humanitarian crisis there, and all the funds raised will be directed towards the work going on to support the Ukrainian people. We've only a little bit left, but before I send you on to our last section, Thank you very much, all of you, for listening and sharing and your donations. The Nest Collective has put this together. Thank you to the team in their homes, staying up late for this. Thank you to Tiff Weir for sound production, the marketing team, Ollie and Serafina, for holding it down online, and the whole Nest Collective team. We put on events across the UK. We are here in Sussex and Gloucestershire for Sing with Nightingales for the next 7 weeks, bringing over 1,000 people in total into the woods here to listen to these birds. We then got the Campfire Club concerts happening throughout the summer. Find out more at thenestcollective.co.uk or follow us on social media at nestfolk. We have about 15 minutes left. You've stayed up late, all of you, and thank you for your commitment. This is a bird we may not get to hear forever and ever. We say that they have about 40 years at current rates of decline, so this is a very special thing to listen to these singers. And amongst the owls and lapwings that you're also hearing, and these some geese flying over right now, we're going to hand over to a wonderful sound artist, Wilder Thorne, Under Your Song. Here goes.
Under your song, tale of love and of loss, under your song. I am still, I am drawn. For how you saw when you say your melody cultivates me. Through tangled thorn comes the life returned. Under your song, under your song, for how you saw
One winter, when I'd had enough of tyrants, I packed up a bag and left. Snow swirled around cold castles where I slept. For months, the only warmth was guttering hope, the help of friends, and playing in my head the mad entreaty of the nightingale, a song which never ends. The nightingale sings in the cellar now, and he sings long. And somewhere south of here, in orchards, waiting, are all the other nightingales calling him to home, recounting all he left behind and all he lost, all things which gave a sense of him now and in the past.
I have seen the lark soar high at morn to sing up in the blue. I have heard the blackbird pipe its song, the thrush and the linnet too. But there's none of them can sing so sweet, my singing bird, as you. My singing bird as you. If I could lure my singing bird from its own cozy nest, if I could catch my singing bird, I would warm it on my breast. And on my heart my singing bird would sing itself to rest. Would sing itself to rest.
It happens in the split second after I send a wet tennis ball hurtling along a farm track with border collie in guided missile pursuit. The crop is oilseed rape, struggling into flower in bone-chilling mizzle, its leaves beaded with baubles of water gleaming in low silver light. The ball arcs, spins, and flings out a centrifugal plume of spray. Cuckoo. The sound has smudgy edges that blend it into the greyness of the sky. I see the dog closing in on the ball, her paws splattering mud. but part of me is gone away to a moment last year when I was crossing a slow brown stream at the edge of a wood. The dappled light was pleasing, and I'd paused to watch it play on the water. A breeze toyed with the canopy so that sound, light, and the air on my skin shifted simultaneously. And then, from the adjacent wood, 2 notes overrode it all and split off another, earlier version of me, this one in a village car park in strong sunshine. Hot, ticking metal, new tarmac. And before that, another me, and another, all the way back to one perched on a rough wooden seat outside a pub with my sister, both of us with a glass bottle of Coke and a packet of salt and shake crisps, too young to be allowed inside. Waiting. Listening. I can think of no other riff of equivalent simplicity and potency. The opening da-da of John Williams' Jaws theme may conjure a thrill in anyone with a 1970s childhood, but the sound I'm hearing now touches deeper than that. Way deeper. I stand very still and wait. Cars swish in puddles on the village road. There are other birds, sparrows twittering in the hedge, a robin, a great tit. Water seems to permeate even their songs. A trickle of skylark, a torrent of wren, a foggy relay of wood pigeon. And then, cuckoo. It's hard to love this gawky, infanticidal maniac of a bird. I can admire it, yes, marvel even at its epic migration, the swiftness of the egg dump, the dazzling fakery of the shell design, the murderous determination of the chick, investing its first minutes of life in heaving its unhatched foster siblings up, 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 until they teeter and fall, leaving it with nothing but hunger for company. The sheer audacity of it all, honed at the sharp edge of natural selection, is breathtaking. But the bird is a misfit. Mad-eyed and awkward, it somehow never looks at ease, and no sooner has it arrived in Britain, it can't wait to leave. With its offspring abandoned to foster care, there's nothing to stay for, and by mid-July, it's gone. But that call, somehow it's everything the bird is not. It vibrates in the air and the mind, a direct line to more memories, some of which are buried so deep they may not even be my own. It's a sound fashioned from flint and mist and sunlight, both hard and soft, both warm and cold, but always, it seems to me, struck with absolute precision. The repetition is faultless. Is that what resonates? The me listening now is the me that listened as a child, but it's more than that. For a moment, I am everyone that ever heard a cuckoo, or ever will.
Well, ending our Singing with Nightingales homecoming was our friend Amy Jane Beer, the wonderful writer, handing it on to the next bird to arrive. I saw my first one today. The cuckoo has landed, and with her writing, everyone that ever heard a cuckoo. Wonderful stuff, Amy. Thank you. And before that, Deirdre Starr with the old favourite singing bird, beautiful song. Charlotte Walker's poem, The Fortress. And before that, another Ukrainian traditional tamiza with Kolorichki, By the River. Thank you so much to all of you for listening tonight. We will be back online on the 22nd of April for our Earth Day broadcast, coming to you from London, live streaming the birds from here in Sussex, but I'll be in concert in theatre on the banks of the River Thames for an in-person and online musical journey with some extraordinary musicians, with Grammy Award nominee Tenzin Choygul, Iranian songstress Masa Vadat, Estonian singer Mari Kalkun, Love Sega, Gabriel Prokofiev, Moira Smiley, Zach Witness, the Australian cellist Anthony Albrecht, and Jahanavi Harrison, and incredible lineup of musicians who've given their music, some live, some pre-recorded. You will hear the whole story of the Nightingale there. But this just leaves me to say thank you to you for listening. I'd like you listeners to put your hands together for the incredible work of Thomas Ashworth, who's been putting all this together, the producer of the show. Thank you so much, Tom. And thank you for your generous donations. We really appreciate this, and we'll be letting you know how much we've raised from this broadcast very soon. Keep an eye on the Nest Collective socials. So from me, Sam Lee, here in East Sussex, and on behalf of the Nightingale singing with me, who will be going on through till dawn, we wish you a very good night, the sweetest of dreams, and thank you for your support and for listening. See you in the field or online.